What's going on, everyone? David here with a new review for the latest episode of Batman the Telltale series from Telltale Games. And yes, if you couldn't already tell from the thumbnail as well as my background image, you know who has finally arrived on Telltale's iteration of the Batman mythos. I mean, they couldn't help themselves. How can they bring forward a Batman property without bringing this guy into the picture? But before I get into that, as well as the rest of the story for this fourth episode, which will contain spoilers, I will go ahead and get some of the other much more rudimentary stuff out of the way. The gameplay as well as the visuals. I mentioned this from the very get-go that if things start to stay the same, I'm not really going to talk about them that much. And sure enough, nothing really innovated with the gameplay and the visuals in the fourth episode. The gameplay was almost exactly identical to that of the previous episodes, and you get to do more of it here. And the visuals and the voice acting is still very top-notch. It's sharper, it's crispier, and the talent is very good, especially from Travis Willingham as Harvey Dent, as well as Troy Baker as Batman. Everybody still at the top of their game. However, I do have a couple of qualms. One, the gameplay. There's certain sections that they could have just done a cutscene for instead of making them interactive. I feel like it just took up a little bit too much of the game's space, that they could have put their assets into fixing the second issue that I'm about to mention. But there's certain sections that are interactive without there needing them to be. Like, I would control Bruce Wayne across like an X-axis where I would just move forward, but I can't move anywhere else. I'm like locked on a rail, and I just didn't really get why that needed to be playable. I don't. And I feel like they could have put their attention away from that and just made it into a cutscene and put it into fixing some of the visual and audio bugs that I came across. Most notably, the desynchronization of the audio with some of the visuals. I mean, guys, we're in the fourth episode. I've downloaded all the patches. I've downloaded the latest updates, and we're still having these issues where the voices weren't matching the mouths moving in certain cutscenes. Telltale, I don't know why we're still having this issue. And if this is going to be a reoccurring thing whenever you guys do 2 series at a time, like, right, I definitely know that when they were doing the Batman, they were also working on The Walking Dead, which is set to premiere next month. And I'm kind of worried about the visual aspects of that game, because lately I feel like this has been a reoccurring thing. And if this is going to keep going, then maybe you should go back to just doing one at a time. But let's go ahead and move on to what really matters. The Joker has shown up in Telltale's version of the Batman story, and it was actually pretty damn good. In fact, I will go as far as to say that maybe this is, story-wise, my favorite episode since episode 1 at the end, where they introduced this whole wrinkle with Batman's parents being involved with the mob. This episode didn't specifically flesh out that idea of Batman's parents. In fact, they kind of mention it in passing here and there, but what this episode did very well was kind of raise the stakes, because at the beginning, we find Bruce in Arkham after attacking Cobblepot at the end of last week's it's not a TV show. At the end of the last episode, he was injected by Vicky Vale, who reveals herself to be Lady Arkham, the main villain that Batman has been fighting all along, the leader of the Children of Arkham, which was one of my favorite things about this series so far, is that it's been taking characters that you would normally know and just twisting them around to be something almost completely different and kind of keep you on edge, because you don't know how they're going to be surprising you. And one of the bigger surprises was learning that Joker not only gets introduced at the beginning of this fourth episode, but he's kind of sort of a friend to Bruce Wayne, because at this point they haven't met. So when Bruce finds himself in Arkham, they're kind of getting along. Joker is kind of like that enforcer who's like, hey, I'm going to help you out from these guys who are trying to kill you, but you're going to owe me a favor later on. I denied him the favor, but I feel like he's going to come asking for it anyway, because he's the Joker. But still, this iteration of Joker, we only saw him in this opening bit, the first 30-45 minutes of the game, when you're finding yourself in Arkham and you're interacting with not only him, but also a good chunk of the Rogues Gallery within Arkham. You find Scarface and the guy who controls, I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name, but the guy, he's got the sock puppet this time. This time Scarface is a sock puppet, but still you can tell who that is. You got Victor Zsasz over there, who can kind of lose it at any moment, and in fact he actually does when Joker tries to create a distraction. And all the while, Bruce still is fighting the symptoms of this thing that he got injected with Vicky, and that whole segment was very, very tense. It's only a little sad to see that it ended so quickly. I mean, not only did he get out of Arkham quickly, no matter what choice you make, whether it is to stop the fight that's going on inside of that room, or if you do go for that phone call, but also he injects himself with an antidote, and that's kind of done and over with. And I was a little disappointed with that certain part. I was like, wow, he's already done with this segment. The tension is kind of gone just as quickly as it came, and now he's moving on to going back to Batman and investigating this crime scene. But from that point onward, it got a little bit better. I wasn't expecting it to get better. I was expecting it to get a little dull, but that's where the stakes got risen, because I felt like Batman / Bruce Wayne was being attacked from multiple directions. You got Lady Arkham out there orchestrating her army, getting her drugs together. You got Harvey Dent blowing up an entire block, practically becoming somewhat of a terrorist himself, despite my choice. Again, it would have been nice for him to be an ally, but no matter what, he still becomes Two-Face, only without the scarring. But on the other side, you also got Penguin, who's hacking his tech, and I've always wanted to see what it's like if somebody, especially in this day and age, what if somebody got into cyberspace and was able to take control of the tech that Batman uses this whole time. And I never seen that gonna be done before, and you do get a taste of that in this episode, especially when you do go one-on-one with Penguin, who has a few tricks of his own up his sleeve. And another thing to take note of that could be good, could be that bad, it depends on you, is that this is probably the shortest episode of the entire series so far. I beat it in about an hour and a half, and it kind of left a few things kind of, you know, up to interpretation. Like Catwoman leaves, so you don't know if she's gonna come back for the season finale to kind of help Bruce out. And of course, Joker's only in the segment with Arkham Asylum, and being that he's the Joker, Telltale would be wise to not just use him for that segment. He could come back in the finale, but I'm hoping he's just there for like a stinger to kind of lead us into season 2. But the main cliffhanger we're left with is depending on what choice you make, whether to go to Wayne Manor and deal with Harvey, or to go to Wayne Tower and take care of Cobblepot. I took care of Cobblepot, which I felt was a bit more climactic, because that entire fight sequence was actually done and choreographed very well, that it almost made this episode feel like a season finale, only to leave us with Wayne Manor burning because fucking Harvey Dent is a douche now, despite my choices, and he burned my stuff. he burned my stuff, and hopefully Alfred is okay in the Batcave. And as negative as this sounds, I understand that it's probably a little too late, considering we only have the season finale, to kind of expect any kind of innovation in the gameplay or the visual aesthetics, especially when it comes to some of these bugs that they have to fix. But I'm glad to see that the story is still, even in the penultimate episode, is still taking twists and turns that I was not expecting to come out of the Batman lore, that I'm glad Telltale's taken a chance on. From Vicky not only being the Lady of Arkham, but being an Arkham herself and having adopted parents that she took the veil name under, and her, through this recreation of a crime scene, being much more visceral than I was anticipating. I'm actually genuinely scared of Vicky. I'm about to utter a phrase that I never thought I was going to utter. I'm scared of Vicky Vale. And I'm scared of what she's going to do in the season finale. Considering her background as an Arkham and her tragedy that's kind of linked and very symmetrical to that of Batman, I'm only looking forward to see how the story fleshes itself out and closes itself to a point in the season finale. So I'm going to be giving Guardian of Gotham a pretty solid 8 out of 10. It would have been high if it wasn't for some of those technical issues, but man, I'm really loving the story that Telltale is bringing us, and I'm looking forward to the finale. And should there be a season 2, I feel like they're planting the seeds just fine. But this time, I want to hear what you guys think. If you have played the 4th episode of Batman the Telltale series, please let me know what you guys thought of the twists and turns, Joker's introduction as John Doe, and his interpretation. I really did like the portrayal. I was looking at the cast to see who was the voice, and at first I thought it was Damon Clark, who did Handsome Jack from the Borderlands games, but it wasn't. Didn't recognize the name, but I'm really impressed by what he's bringing to the table as this brand new Joker, and I'm wondering to see if Telltale's going to continue using him in either the finale or more preferably the second season, should there be one. What are you guys expecting is going to happen in the season finale? How do you think Batman's going to defeat the Children of Arkham and Lady Arkham herself? And I'm hoping that all of you guys are going to have a very blissful and very fun and very, very food-packed Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. It's our time to be grateful, and right now I'm going to use this opportunity to be grateful for just recently hitting 4,100 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for letting me hit that milestone. I know it's only like 4,100, but I consider every 100 subscribers to be somewhat of a milestone, and I appreciate it. So I want to show my appreciation, guys. Thank you so much. Now please show me your appreciation by hitting that like button. Just one simple click. You hit the like button and you'll be showing me how much you guys like the video, obviously. Share the video with anybody that would be interested in this kind of thing. And of course, if you are interested in more videos, please hit the subscribe button for more. See you guys next time, and take good care. And once again, happy Thanksgiving.